What's up everyone? Today I have for your potential viewing pleasure a LEGO Transformer. And if you missed that intro, this is LEGO Transformers G1 Megatron version 2. The reason I went all out in the intro is just to pay a nod to version 1. Megatron was actually the first LEGO Transformer I ever attempted. Not a good way to start, but as my skill level with building LEGOs increased, his design has improved. And now after many years, I finally have him just the way I want him. And this new design is very, very neat, if I do say so myself. It's much cleaner than version 1. It actually looks like a gun. It doesn't look like he's going to fall apart at any moment. But what surprised me the most is how solid he is. Like, I'm applying pressure, like a decent amount of pressure in spots, and nothing's like breaking. So that's very neat. This is definitely one of the more professional Transformers I've made. Like, everything actually pegs together, which is not something I've done in the past. But yeah, you can actually hold him. This is just a stand so he can sit up properly. And it feels very nice in your hand. I like this. I like this gun mode. It actually looks like a Walter P38 now. As opposed to the last version, which looked like some sort of... I don't even know. With the last version, I was kind of focused with making him stand up in gun mode, and that kind of sacrificed the look of it. But with this version, I went strictly on just improving everything. And surprisingly, it only took me about 3 weeks to build this guy. Yeah, all those modifications went by really fast. I mean, he was just a big pile of parts sitting on my desk for a while. But yeah, lots of improvements made here. I don't have a lot of black or gray tiles, so he's not as studless as I would have liked, but I think he looks pretty good. I do like this barrel piece up here. I like this part that's sticking up, kind of like a sight, and it is hollow, which is nice. The scope is bigger. On version 1, it didn't really look right, it was too small. The reason for that was I don't like looking at those pictures of the original toys where like the scope was massive compared to the rest of them. But I did make this one bigger, make it look a bit more accurate. It's got these like knobs on the top here. I don't know what they're for, maybe for like adjusting the sights or something, but they're there. And then I added this wheel piece on the back to give it a more accurate shape. He's not perfect. He does have these hinges sticking out here. These hinges right here that are black, they really should be gray, but I don't mind that too much. The one thing that kind of bothered me at first is that his head is kind of sticking out here. I didn't have a place for that to go, but it's not too bad. It doesn't bother me too much. So yeah, there's this gun mode. Now you can still pull the trigger. Unlike version 1, like the way the piece was shaped, kind of got stuck to your finger and pulled back on its own. This one doesn't really do that. It mainly just folds up for transformation, but you can still pull the trigger. There are these studs on this side, but that's for transformation, so I don't mind those. I usually display them like this anyway, so you won't even see those. Yeah, that's pretty much it for gun mode, so let's get to transformation. The transformation is really close to the G1 toy, which I do like. That's something I've always strived for with the last version and this version. You take off the stand, it's easy enough. We'll fold up the trigger before I forget that. The scope still has to come off, which is fine. Unlike version 1, the barrel does have to come off here. That's something that I wasn't really planning on changing. I kind of liked how the barrel stayed on the whole time. But with this version, the design changes wouldn't allow me to use the same technique that I used last time. So I figured it would just be simpler and neater, cleaner, if I just had the barrel a separate piece. So here's the base of Megatron. And without the scope, he kind of looks more like a Luger than a P38. But anyway, let's just get the arms out of here. You untab it from the main body, and then you kind of have to pull it out slightly to get enough clearance to bring it out. And you can see all that junk in there. The light will catch it. There you go. Just pull the other arm out. And we'll just leave those there for now. Come down to the legs. Unpeg those. You have to unpeg it from here as well. This always kind of worries me. I feel like something's going to pop off. There we go. That untabbed just fine. It does work better if you have long fingernails, which fortunately I do. And then untab the legs again. They tab in 2 places. Up top here, and then down there. So just swing those around. They swing around a lot more than version 1. And then for the legs, just bring them down, collapse them in, and then hinge those down. So over here, straighten that out, collapse in the knee, and bring that down. The knees are pretty much the only thing on here that's the same as version 1. I mean, it works differently, but I use the same pieces, which is nice. So now bring this down, and the chest is attached here on both sides, so just untap that. Bring this up, which is similar to version 1, but it's different hinges. So just rotate this, and then bring this piece up. That'll be his abdomen. That just tabs in there. And then for the arms, you have to slide them forward. And then they're on this double hinge, so bring this down. It's kind of tricky to get all this on camera. Bring that down. Then they're on this double hinge, so they just come out like this. And then this whole mess comes up. Very similar to the toy. Just situate the arms there. Let me adjust the camera. There we go. Now just situate the arms up here. They kind of just rest on his chest. And you can bend the elbows slightly if you want. Make sure his knees are forward so he doesn't fall over. Now bring the head down, rotate it around, like that. Come to the back here. Attach the barrel. And you can see why it wouldn't work because these hinges are in the way. So just tap it on there. That's fine. And his knees are getting pretty loose. I'm worried about that. There are some loose hinges in here. I kind of ran low on tighter hinges. But just give him his fusion cannon or particle cannon, whichever one you prefer. I've heard both. And here's Megatron in his robot mode. Megatron's new robot mode is vastly better than version 1, if I do say so myself. Sorry about the sloppy camera work, I'm just trying to get them all in frame, because he's taller than my usual Transformers. But he just looks so much more accurate and so much neater than before, especially in this abdomen area. I did my best to recreate that as best I could, even got a little Decepticon symbol there, which is not a sticker, it's actually just something I printed out and glued on there. So, not a very neat gluing job, or cutting job for that matter. But it still looks nice, it fills them out. The head, I just really like. It's a lot better than the last version. It actually has the right shape. It's got that bucket head look. It's got a nice mouth there due to that cheese slope on his face. He has 2 eyes now, which is nice. And then a couple more cheese slopes on his forehead, gives him that angry expression, which I really like. And for a comparison, here's the head of version 1. Don't ask me why I kept that. It's just a bit of nostalgia. Yeah, he looks very nice. He's got the barrel on the back, which is a lot better. Everything's just better than version 1. I was worried that his scope was going to be too big, but it actually looks somewhat proportional. I've seen the toys where the scope's like this big in proportion to them. I like the way this one looked. His arms are kind of short, but that's due to the robot mode, so it doesn't bother me too much. Yeah, he just looks really nice. His legs are a lot thicker now, and they are actually black. I didn't mention that in gun mode, but his legs are actually the right black shape that they were instead of just a dark gray, which is nice. And the feet are also changed. They are a bit unsymmetrical due to the transformation, but I don't mind that too much. And there's that other peg I was talking about that just pegs right in there. But overall, he does look really nice. He does kind of suffer from the back. It's not too neat back here, but that's just how the transformation works. He's a bit hollow in there, but again, I don't mind. From the front, he looks nice, and when he's on display, that's all I really care about. So there he is. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun working on this guy. I'm glad he's finally the way I want him to be. And if you liked the video, please leave a comment or a like. And if you like my channel, then go ahead and subscribe if you want. I would have done a comparison with Optimus, but he's currently undergoing some improvements as well, so stay tuned for that. And I'll put a link in the description to the previous version. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. But what surprised me the most is how solid he is. Like, well, there's that.